All right, it's time now to take a look at stories making headlines on Nigerian newspapers. And I have with me in the studio political technocrat Dr. Dayo Kayode and public affairs analyst Dotun Ojon. Gentlemen, good morning. Happy New Year. I'm seeing you for the first time.
Happy New Year to you,
Nika.
Right.
And nice seeing you in the new year.
Thank you very much. Let's begin now with the Nation newspaper. Ibadan mourns. Olubadan dies, buried. Buhari governors, Tinubu, others pay tributes. Balogun to ascend throne. You find the details on the pages of the Nation newspaper. To the first newspaper now, Lekan Balogun to become next Olubadan. Tinubu, Makinde, others mourn departed Ibadan monarch. And to the leadership newspaper, leadership persons of the year 2021, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, DG World Trade Organization. To the Nigerian News Direct, APC may postpone national convention. You find all of the details on the pages of the Nigerian News Direct. And to the Daily Trust newspaper, APC convention shaky as cabal plots consensus. Buni committee yet to begin process. Deadly landmines with party aggrieved chieftains speaking there. And on the front page of the blueprint, tackling insecurity in 2022 with 12 trillion naira budget in 7 years, Nigerians set agenda for troops. Others. Details on the pages of the blueprint. To the Nigerian Tribune, presidency, why Buhari signed 2022 budget despite insertion of 6,576 new schemes. You find the details on the pages of the Nigerian Tribune. To the Punch newspaper, budget, National Assembly faults Buhari, insists on 6,576 extra projects. And National Assembly has power to drop amend budget proposals. House spokesman is speaking there. You find all of the details on the pages of the Punch newspaper. To the Business Day now. Outlook for 2022. Nigeria will need more than oil to lift economy. Details on the pages of the Business Day. To this Nigerian newspaper, as oil prices drop by 2%, gloomy economic outlook in 2022. COVID-19 cases soar, infections driven by Omicron variant. And on the Daily Independent, implementation of BAST, all right, job loss imminent. Implementation of Basel. All right, job loss imminent as banks may face mergers, acquisitions. All of the details on the pages of the Daily Independent. All right, gentlemen, let's look at the story on the pages of the Punch newspaper, talking about National Assembly faulting President Buhari, insisting on 6,576 extra projects. We know that the president signed the budget for the end of 2021, and he had some reservations with regards to some of the things in the budget. And he faulted some of the things in the budget, and, you know, he signed still. And now the National Assembly is saying through the spokesperson that they have the powers to amend the budget proposals, and all of its reactions, divergent reactions, have been coming. Let's begin to get your reactions, gentlemen, with regards to what we saw or what we're seeing play back and forth with regards to the budget, that despite faulting some of the things in the budget, the president still went ahead to sign it.
I will begin with like this. In Ekiti, they will say, I will interpret it. Okay. Ẹ ṣọ́ ní gbépo lájà nìkan ló lè. Oníkan gbà sílẹ̀ tí ká gan ó lè ní.
Okay.
That is, it is not the person that went up to go and steal palm oil, that is a thief alone. The person that assisted in bringing it down too is also a thief. That is, there is a connivance.
Okay.
No matter what it is. The president had seen by himself that he has some reservations on that budget. Then why should you sign it? I have a reservation. I have a reservation on, not fully well, that at the end of the day, the bulk stops by your table. The responsibility will be heaped on you. And that's why all this time, whatever happens, people always put it on the president. Are you with me? I saw a writer on one of the papers just now that the president's lack of supervision of fighting the military, fighting the insurgents, is why we are not seeing results. I saw it on the writer in one of the papers when you were showing it there. Now the issue is this: you are the chief executive. You are the one that knows the projects that Nigeria needs as the executive, and you send this one to the National Assembly. Is the National Assembly to determine the number of projects we have, or the number of projects that we can execute? Another writer said Nigeria needs more than oil to bring up our economy. But now let us ask ourselves some questions this morning. Austria, do they have oil? Austria is a developed nation. Is there oil in Germany? Germany is a developed nation. Netherlands, Switzerland, and some of these countries. Where I'm coming up with, because I have been to these countries, I have seen the way their economy is. I have seen the way their societies are. Why can't we borrow leave from this? Why is it that every year we'll be fighting on budget padding? Why are we not taking people's development, giving people dividends of democracy, the deliverables of democracy? Why is it not the thing that is causing ripples among our leaders? Why is it that it is always about their hedonistic tendencies? Why? Nigerians, at this present moment, we need to be asking salient questions that will pierce the minds of these so-called, in quotes now, do we call them political leaders? Are they political leaders?
What are they?
So sometimes when we are joking, instead of say political leader, we say political looters. That one is off record though.
Well, you're on national TV.
I say it is off record.
It's on record.
You know, because each time you see them fighting each other, it is about their pockets. But when it is about the people, you see them coming together.
So invariably what you're saying is that the president shouldn't have signed it.
In as much as he is having some reservations, why should you sign it? Let us ensure that we tie the whole thing properly before signing it. There are situations whereby we send our budget in March. We have seen it before.
No, but there is a cycle now.
Another thing is, even whether you
January to December cycle.
Yeah, even whether you sign or you don't even sign, to what extent have they even been executing
budget performance?
The budget? Yes, the budget performance index. To what extent? Since all these days, to what extent? So it's all an issue. We now need to look for how to get credible leaders into positions of authority.
Anyway, Dotun, let's get your perspective to this, because the National are saying they have the right to make amendments to certain things.
Yeah. They have the right to make amendment to everything, not a matter of talking about certain things here. The reality is that what makes democracy is actually
checks and balances.
And the input of the National Assembly differentiates democracy from military rule that we've had over the time. During military, you have the judiciary, you have the executive under any guise or any name. But the National Assembly is what makes democracy acceptable. Because in the heads of those who drafted the idea, either direct or indirect democracy, representation, direct representation of the people is really very important. For example, we have one governor in a state, and from that state we have about 3 senators and about, in some cases, 9 House of Representatives members. So you want to believe that these people understand the peculiarity of their zone. Nigeria is a very complex nation that politics has made complicated.
Okay.
Now, when you're discussing budget, for example, it is beyond somebody sitting in Abuja in the name of being an executive and putting pen to paper and think, oh, Ojuala in the local government, which is my community, needs a borehole. No. Somebody represents that particular area who should ordinarily have an understanding of what the people of the area want. So when you now submit a budget, and the person who understands the peculiarity of his environment is saying that, no, you do not understand, though, that this place is actually a bridge we need. It's not this road, as we have said it. So that confers the right on the National Assembly.
But you have to give the executive justification for why you are imputing or making amendments.
There's a difference between imputing and amending.
Okay.
And it's very, very clear. When you are not talking that the National Assembly is imputing project, then that may be beyond the powers of the National Assembly.
But it's not many, it's adding. Listen to that word, adding 6,000 plus.
The word adding and imputing in this concept mean the same thing.
Right.
You cannot introduce new budget. But what you can do is to amend an existing budget that has been submitted by the executive.
Okay.
If, as a National Assembly member, you are introducing new budget, that means that you are telling the executive that their input is not necessary. So what I'm saying in essence is that we must be very clear on what the duties of the National Assembly is. If the complaint is about adjusting, amending, and changing the direction of a particular project, they have the right. But if it is introducing a new project, for example, if the National Assembly, if the executive didn't say in the Kosike we want to tar road, and somebody who is representing here says we are going to put road into it, that is wrong.
So you need to check that news properly.
Yeah, no, it's a two-way thing.
It's a
two-way thing. It happened. That's not the only thing they are complaining about. They are also complaining about the direction that the National Assembly actually changed in the budget. I've taken my time to study everything. They talk about 6,007 extra projects.
Yes.
The question
where is the money coming from?
The question we should ask the executive is that they should be truthful. Because these 6,576 projects that they talk about, my investigation has shown that not the entire project are new projects. Okay. They were amendments here and there. They were new projects. So what I expected is a roundtable discussion at this point between the executive and first the caucus in the House. It may not even be the General National Assembly. The essence of your political party having members in the National Assembly is for some things like this to be resolved. So you sit with them. There's an SSA to the President of National Assembly matter. What was he looking at when he took the project and went to give to the President?
Right.
We know fully well that we are trying to come up with this January to December kind of circle. So it's a complication of understanding. It's a complication of usurping people's responsibility. It's a complication of not being truthful to the Nigerian people. Dr. Kayode made a very valid point. As we speak, Veronica, all our refineries in Nigeria cannot process 500,000 barrels per day. One person is coming up with a new refinery that is producing roughly 700,000, 750,000 barrels per day. So if these are the projects we are fighting about, then it will be sensible. Knowing fully well that we are entering a year of serious hardship. I'm not a prophet of doom, but when you put the indices together, you know that there's no way forward. The only thing government will do now, because it's a year preceding an election year, is to pump in money to the system. And when you pump in money without production, you cause inflation. And at the end of the day, it bounces back to the people. One of the reasons why everybody is dying to contest election now with my investigation is not even to make Nigeria better again. It's to escape the hardship that is prevalent outside of power. That's why people get there and they do not understand what to do. So Veronica, let's go beyond the fight between the executive and the legislators. Let us ask ourselves this basic question. What will the fight bring as benefit to the Nigerian people?
No, the presidency has said that there won't be any fight between the executive and the legislature. But then what would the Nigerian people benefit, even if they are not going
and that's why I said, that's why I concluded a lot of time that we should now start looking at how to put credible leaders in positions of authority. He was saying something the other time that I was expecting a caucus from the National Assembly and that of executive to meet. But he has also forgotten that there is what we call party loyalty. Okay? Party loyalty. Those of the ruling party in National Assembly, if they have loyalty to their party, because whatever the executive and this
is all about the interest of party.
But that is not to tell you that there is a lot of disintegration in the party. They don't believe in themselves.
So are you saying
this
is about the interest of the party, not the interest of the people?
Listen to this.
Right.
That's what we call philosophy of a party. The philosophy of a party should be built on benefits that is going to give to the people if voted to power.
Does that still exist?
That's where I'm going to.
Right.
But unfortunately, it is now about me, I, and self. Okay? So to that extent, that party loyalty is no more there. It's no more there. It is about what comes to me first. Forget the party. And that is why we are seeing what we are seeing today. Because if not, like you were saying, me, I want to add that, look, the ministries, before submitting their budget for the coming year, they too will have done their due process from community to community, bearing in mind that there is no ministry that is not being represented in all the states. They would have.
Right.
I'm talking of ideal situation. Yeah. They are supposed to have
our situation.
Do you understand? It's supposed to be, but that is not the case. What all of them are doing, or what all of them have been doing in position of authority, is about how to escape the poverty that they are seeing. How to escape. So whatever they are doing, they want to put in, okay, how will this thing benefit me first? Before they put pen on their papers. This thing I want to write, how does it benefit me? Where will I go from here? And that is why we are where we are today, whereby a whole country cannot process enough crude oil for the people to use. And they're always talking now about subsidy. But a single individual is being given the authority, the mandate to do this. Why? These are all because of self, me, and I.
Right. That's your position, though. You want to add something to what you said?
Yes. I'm going to start from the issue of the political party. You raised an issue about should we be talking about the party or the people? Ideally, one of the reasons why the Supreme Court has argued over the time that the party is the rightful owner of votes. For example, if you are a candidate of the party and they cast ballot for you and anything happens, that the party is actually the owner, that's still debatable all over the community. Why the Supreme Court made that announcement and gave that judgment is understanding the fact that the philosophy of any political party defines the program and the policy and the project that government is going to execute. Now, we are in a peculiar situation where you don't know what is what. And apart from the party manifesto, we have seen over the time that people in authority will come to deny manifestos. And the excuse has always been, I wasn't the one that said it, perhaps it was my political party that said it. So there's been a disconnect between the representative of a political party and that political party. Now, you cannot hold them responsible as to say, oh, but this is what your party represents. They can say, oh, I wasn't part of that decision. And it's so funny. People have continued to get away with this. And That's why when they win election, you in an ideal situation, that's one of the reasons why I'm really very sad. A philosopher said that hard times produce strong people. Strong people build good time. Good time, in other hand, produce weak men. Weak men build hard time back. So it's supposed to be a circle. But in our own case, our hard time is producing weak men. It's only weakness of men. And what we are seeing today is not a product of whether government is bad alone. There seems to be an agreement between all of us as a people that this is the direction we want to be facing. For example, if somebody makes a promise and fails, you don't honor such person with power again. And in Nigeria today, is so annoyed that somebody gets into office, does not do what he has promised to do, and we honor them again by giving them a second time. And that's why when you get to power, you can just manipulate every situation. And this is a year preceding election year. That's where I'm going. As we speak now, less than 25% of Nigerian people are the one deciding the destiny, direction of the people when it comes to democracy. That is to say, majority of us who even come on television to talk, ask them to produce their voters card. They don't have. Majority of us who put out this sermon, ask them to go contest election. They will chicken away. So until we get to a point where we see Nigeria as our project and we are ready to risk anything and everything to make it work, then I don't want my children to come on television and be shouting the way I'm shouting now. At that time, that's the reality. But if we continue like this, by talking and not taking action, generations after generations will come and on television to be shouting on the basic things that we are supposed to do right. And we may continue like this.
Well, that's a fine place to leave the conversation, gentlemen. Political technocrat, Dr. Dayo Kayode, and public affairs analyst, Dotun Ojon. Thank you for your time on the
pleasure.
It's a pleasure. Dr. Kayode, you didn't talk about the fact that I took you out on Monday. So
congratulations. Congratulations on Dayo reunion. Thank you very much for taking me out last Monday.
Anyway, thank you so much once again.